before we start to our specific topic, let me show you first a quick history about Philippines.
Welcome to the Philippines, have a look around. I'm here to tell you how our Filipino history's found. On 1521 of March 16th, we were discovered by an explorer Portuguese. Welcome to the Philippines, take a look and see. Now here's some random facts for you to learn our history. From dialects, silence, places to our hero wins by Annie. And of course our flag symbolizes so different things.
Christians believe that it is part of their duty to act in a moral way. This involves helping others around them. The church can also play an important role in community cohesion. This is important because we live in an increasingly multicultural and multi-religious society. Christians believe that the church can be a stabilizing force for good in a world that is increasingly unreligious. The church can support people who are going through difficulties, whatever background they may come from. Often, the church will seek to work with other religious groups to help keep peace and harmony in the community, as religious leaders still have some influence in the areas that they work in.
Roman Catholic Church introduced their religion to the native people to unite them by common religion, dealing with disunity and warring of factions and tribes in Philippine Islands. The history of the work of the Church in the Philippine Islands leads one inevitably to Friar Andres de Urdaneta, the veteran navigator who, as has been seen, one had become an Augustinian friar and accompanied Legazpi on his memorable trip, resulting in the conquest of the Philippine Islands by Spain. The first conflict between church and state appears to have occurred in 1581, shortly after the arrival of the ambitious and apparently somewhat arrogant first Bishop of Manila, Domingo de Salazar. He exerted his ecclesiastical powers to protect the Filipinos against the autocratic conduct of the Spanish conquerors, and his reports to the king appear to have resulted in the creation of the Audiencia, or High Court of Justice at Manila, upon the jurisdiction of the executive, especially in the protection of the natives, a system where friars and priests were exempt from civil court trials led to abuses, of which there were probably too many cases and some of a serious character. The Church, however, unquestionably performed a great service in converting the populace to Christianity and preparing them for a new order of things. These abuses, as well as conflicts resulting from the friars' position as large estate landlords, inflamed popular resentment, which was a contributing factor in the revolution against Spain in 1896, when the Americans arrived. It was obvious that the time had come when an absolute separation of the church and the state, such as prevailed elsewhere under the American flag, was not only desirable but necessary.
Oh my God! Wow!
By passing through the numerous phases of colonial occupation, the relationship of the church and state in the Philippines has repeatedly changed. From the collaboration of the Roman Catholic Church with the government during the Spanish era. During the Spanish colonial era, the merger and power sharing of the Roman Catholic Church and state became the generally accepted rule. The rules governing the cooperation of the two entities was set in the Patronato Real de los Indios, a combination of law and jurisprudence that governed the delicate relationship of the Holy See and the Spanish monarchy regarding colonial affairs. In the agreements, the Church gave the Spanish monarchy the responsibility of promoting, maintaining, and defending the Roman Catholic religion in all Spanish dominions overseas. In return, the Spanish were permitted to exercise numerous rights to autonomously govern the colonial church virtually independent of Roman jurisdiction. The successful legacy conquest of the Philippines recognized stepor of clergy by bringing along Andres Urdaneta, a navigator, and priest to help control natives and other Spanish rulers. Acknowledged the importance of clergy. The friars control all the fundamental forces of society. In the Philippines, they control the educational system, for they own the University of Santo Tomas, and are the local inspectors of every primary school. They control the minds of the people because in a dominantly Catholic country, the parish rectors can utilize the pulpit and confessionals to publicly or secretly influence the people. This harmonious relationship, nonetheless, was often marked by friction between divergent interests of church and state. Through the conflicts of Don Sebastian Hurtado de Corcuera with Fray Hernando Guerrero and Governor Juan de Vargas with Archbishop Felipe Pardo, the constant disagreement and incompatibility of the church and state proved to be a persistent feature of Spanish rule. The infighting continued and reached its peak when, for Mariano Gomez, Fr. Jose Burgos, and Fr. Jacinto Zamora, called the Gomberzo or executed by civil authorities against church opposition. The execution of the Gomberza set off a massive wave of social discontent that precipitated in the Philippine Revolution. The Spanish were unable to cope with multiple uprisings since their limited military was overextended. Calderon then attacked the position of Apolinario Mabini, who insisted on the separation of church and state. The Calderon proposal was defeated and the provision was finally passed. Article 5. The state recognizes the freedom and equality of all religions, as well as the separation of church. The church in modern world.
The church was founded by Jesus Christ, and the church has a spiritual mission in the world. The church is in the world, but the church does not belong to this world. The church belongs to another world, and that is the world of God. So even if we are in the world, we look forward to the world that is to come. So what is the role of the church in society? Basically this: to bring Christ to society, to give Christ to society, so that more and more our society will be configured into Christ, so that every human being will act and talk and think like Jesus. Church's mission is total evangelization, and at the end of our lives, we will only be judged according to what we did to the body of each one: feeding the hungry, giving drink to the thirsty, visiting the lonely,